begun. You probably turn your cell phones down or off. Need a roll call, please.
Commissioner Aiken?
Here.
Commissioner Headington?
Here.
Commissioner Moore?
Here.
Commissioner Franklin?
Here.
And Mayor Fitzgerald.
Here, please stand, take your hats. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make standing. Please.
Hey, Father, we just thank you for this day and thank you, Lord, for your blessing on this city. And we just, we're grateful for your many blessings. And so we give you thanks. And we just ask, Lord, for your wisdom tonight and guide the council on all the decisions that they need to make for current as well as future. In Jesus.
Thank you. Okay. Roll the minutes, take motion, please.
So. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public comment, and you get 3 minutes. Okay, moving on. Roll the minutes to, the regular council meeting held May 4th and May 18th for, 2026. Motion,
Oh, second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Is there opposed? Okay, moving on, report of officers, finance, approval of claim paid, May 16th, 2026, to May 29th, 2026. I think it's all.
The amount of $575,740 or $764.07.
Second. Megan?
Commissioner Aiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Headington?
Yes.
And then Commissioner Franklin?
Yes.
And Mayor Fitzgerald.
That's, starting report.
No reports.
No report today, okay, move on down to the city administrator report and, staff quarterly report.
Yeah, I just have a couple quick things for the council mayor. Thank you. The first thing is I just wanted to say thank you for everyone, including all of our council, for participating and supporting the parade. It was another wonderful Memorial Day parade. Always a very touching and great day. A lot of staff involved either on that day, before that day, long hours on that day. Great showing by the fire department. So thank everybody who participated and contributed to that. Also wanted to just give a brief update on the strategic planning update. Our community survey has been completed. Our public stakeholder groups that we created out of just members of the public and various residential groups, those have all been completed. This week, our elected leaders have their one-on-one calls. So tomorrow and Wednesday, I think, you guys have your calls with NIU. And then following that in July, they start to pull all this together. And that's when we meet as a group for the first time to start chewing on that data. So again, just a reminder that that's moving right along. I think that the goal is that by September, we have a draft. So it's happening. Thank you for contributing. And I know it's been tedious, especially for staff. We're not done yet. We still got a lot of hours to put into it, but that'll be greater for the greater good. Also wanted to mention that we have several returning staff members. So I think Steve has 2 or 3 people. You're going to continue to see next week adjustments for those returning summer seasonals. Look at that, probably a 4% bump. I think it was a 50 or 60 cent bump. So anyone who's coming back this year, you're going to start to see those 1-year returns. And our next meeting, you're going to have a handful of revised offer letters. So just want to let you know about half of our summer team in the streets and parks department this year was returning. So that's a really good turn. Nice to have returning staff in with their military report. And then the last update that I wanted to provide is just a project on the update on the roads project. I know that we're going to continue to get into these as the details go out and go out for bid. But as a reminder, the west of Misty Meadows is slated to be done this year. And then in terms of the Wheeler House area, Washington, Thompson, Lathrop Terrace, Hemingway, Solomon, Montgomery, Allen, Caswell, and a portion of Park are all slated to get done this year. All of that is due to the 1% revenue that's coming in over $1 million a year. It's fantastic addition. We're also hoping to add Center, 2 blocks of Center, South 8th Street, the entire stretch between Bluff and Sherman, and then the small stretch of Illinois. That is in addition to striping and crack sealing projects that are going on. So just a boatload of We've got about 20 of those signs that we worked on last year that says, you know, this project is due in part to your 1% sales tax, thank you. So you're gonna see those popping up all over, but just a ton of work been getting done this season. So I don't think we've ever put a road project out for bid first week of June, second week of June. So hoorah to the fairground team that and Steve and I know Jeff, your team has to do a lot of work before these roads can go out for bid too. So a group effort, but it's wonderful and it's coming. So wanted to get that a public plug. Other than that, Jeff has his quarterly report for wastewater, but that's all I've got for you.
I think Brian needs to say, where does this money come from?
1% sales tax, I don't know if you said it enough, we can say it again,
Just
1% sales tax.
down there.
I think it's, I mean, you said it yourself, no work has been done this early, not this much work has ever been done. Tell your friends, post it on Facebook, put it in the group chats, tell everybody you know. Thank you.
At least 3 times what we will see in motor fuel tax.
The total cost will be 1.3.
Yeah, you know, it's gonna fluctuate because sales tax fluctuates, but when we did our early time guesstimates on what we thought a 1% sales tax increase could generate. We were hoping it would generate $1 million a year, and I think in the first 12 months, it generated like 1.2, 1. So the first 1.4. So I try to, you know, say under now, and we should be spending. Yeah, it does fluctuate, but well over $1 million, and more importantly, the motor fuel tax, which is primarily our road improvement money, it just continues to shrink, and it's around the 300,000. And it's gonna keep going down, so it really is the only way. I don't know where we would be, our local roads without 1% of these, we're gonna need to keep asking for 5 years.
I want to remind everybody, Black Hawk Gardens 251 is state roads, they're not our roads. And I mean, we would love it, and I drive the road down from Rockton all the way to the end of the 4-lane, that's all pre-paved, beautiful, but you didn't come up past Prairie Hill Road yet. And, we're working on it, but you know how that is when you work out with the state. So, go ahead, sorry.
Jeff, I'll call you.
They do a great job of proofreading my report, so I can see some grammatical errors, but it's me in normal days. First thing I had on here was our flows. So if you recall back to April, we had a lot of heavy rains. Our flows went way up, so we're still averaging in that 2.4. I want to remind everybody this per day, 2.4 million gallons a day. I believe, and we have to check, that we're billing around 800,000 per day for billing. It got up to at the highest point for one day flow of 4.8 million gallons. So 4 million gallons of water that is unbilled coming into the treatment plant that still has to be treated just like the rest of it. So just want to point that out. And we have spent a ton of money over the last 15 years I've been here on infrastructure repairs, lateral repairs, and that type of thing. So that's almost as high as I've seen it in 15 years of that. So I'm spending a little bit more time on that because I need everybody to understand that. Yes, we raised our rates, but if we were billing for every gallon we received, we probably wouldn't need to raise those rates. Keep in mind the treatment plant is really designed for 5 million max average daily flow. So we've got plenty of room there, and the treatment plant handled it very, very well. We didn't see any issues other than 2 screw pumps running at one time together, which is unusual for us. We are successfully running our screw pumps without problems again. We've modified what we do there. We're taking every time that each one starts up at about 8 o'clock. So each day a new one's running and the other one shuts down. We're taking temperature readings of the bearings as well as the gearbox. We've highlighted with the paint on each location where we want to be taking those temperatures. Because as you know, for the second time in 5 years, we've had to replace the upper and lower bearings on 2 of the 3 of them. So I'm watching that very, very diligently, and I've got the guys reporting for that. I'm also working on new airflow meters. We've had a lot of trouble with our airflow meters. They measure in cubic feet per second. That adjustment, that controls what the adjustment of flow going into each of the basins that receive air. Right now, we've got one that is at our, one meter that's out of commission. It's been out of commission for a long time. The company that they come from, FCI. I have requested back a year ago for a new replacement. I've gotten an PO, I still have yet to receive or be billed for that. So I'm looking at another option, doing the same thing with a different company. To get service, because I can't wait months and months and months for service on those units. It's critical to the operation. So I'm moving forward with a different plan. You hopefully will see it on the agenda in the next meeting or two. But I want to get that out to the things, make sure we got everything covered so I can present it to full. Shauna and I attended, as she reported last meeting, McHenry Lake Solar Erosion Control Conference online. I attended a pre-treatment conference with Aaron. That was at the Medina Shriners facility. Tyler and Aaron and I attended the larvicide training, so we would be able to treat stagnant water for mosquito larvae. That's done in conjunction with the health department through their licensing. But in order to do it, you need to attend their 1 hour training session. They usually share 20 or 30 of the what they call briquettes for larvicide treatment free of charge, and they sometimes have money where they can provide more down the road as we need it. We haven't done much treatment in the past year. Most of our catch basins for stormwater are dry. Steve would know, but we continue to do it just to make sure we're covered in case there becomes problems. We removed 2 yards, which is our great big unloader of algae out of our aeration mixing basin, which is structure 50. That's there for extra treatment. Algae grows in the treatment plant because of the nutrients in the water. And the reason it's growing there is because it has sunlight and just not enough. It's just a hair too stagnant, so it grows on the walls. So there's lots of ways to remove it. The way we've chosen is mechanical means, meaning we're using rakes and shovels and scooping it out and dumping it in the bucket and just get rid of it. If we let it go, it'll bloom, get old, die off, flake off, and end up in our tertiary filters, which causes problems with that. So it's preventive maintenance. We had UV checked 3 weeks ago with Denora, the company that provides the equipment. We were having a lot of trouble. Made some adjustments and some minor repairs. They said we're right on track. We just missed a couple of minor things that they weren't able to direct us through. We got taken care of. I'm back in full business there. We had done a service contract with them earlier in the year. And I want to remind everyone, thank Darren Beloit for the money that we're going to receive towards the lift station 1 project in the near future. And I've started working on our PFAS. It's now a catchword in the water industry. PFAS requirements of the future for the treatment plant in conjunction with Fair Grant. So we're prepared for the future. At that point, right now, I don't have much more to report. If you have any questions about anything related to wastewater, I'm happy to answer them right now.
Good. Okay, thank you, Jeff. I want to second what Tanya said. I sent out an email. You can I wanted to thank everybody, all of our department heads, all of our staff, our employees, and our council, and the residents for our parade, which people almost didn't go off. They didn't even have our fire department parade, which was kind of well, we got that straightened out.
He put on his lights and sirens and he was like, too
Yeah,
bad.
I said, let's go ahead and just get in there, right?
And there's some.
Yeah, so we did all right, but everybody was pretty proud of the way the parade went off. And our street city was late. And police had us all secure and everything, so that was very, very good parade. Anybody else got anything to say? If not, moving on. Unfinished business, presentation update of the lift station project by Tyler Nelson and, yeah, with Fairground. Tyler, please.
Maybe, is there a chance we could get it up there? If not, then I think everybody had the hard copy. For those I haven't had the privilege to meet, I'm Tyler Nelson, the branch manager of Fairgrounds Rockford office. Appreciate the chance to be here tonight. Oh, okay. Guess not. Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Don't worry, it's not everybody.
Yeah, thank
Yeah, we got our copy. Okay, we'll just walk through it there. So I've been with Fairground a little over 2.5 years. So when they came in, this project was already kind of moving, and it's been on books for a little while, so I thought it was a good time. So we've made some real progress here recently, and hopefully start to see some dirt turn and some shovels on the ground on this shortly. So figured it was a good time to come here and give a quick update. Your first slide there, that's kind of just an overall to familiarize yourself with the parameters of the project. For those who maybe aren't familiar, but we're abandoning 2 lift stations along Bluff Road, a fourth main crossing under the Rock River that has been problematic over the years, and installing a new lift station on Bluff Road just south of that road. Yeah, Mobile Park there, and then a new force main crossing under the railroad and the river directly into the wastewater treatment plants. That force main crossing itself there, it would be installed by the directional bore method and pick up about 30 foot of elevation. So it's a significant undertaking there. But then this would just kind of clean up the double lift stations there and give a new crossing in a casing under the river and out the railroad to take away any concerns about illicit discharges into the river. That's kind of the genesis of the project. To give you the next slide, I have a quick timeline, just kind of step you through when it started. October 2021 was the original engineering agreement with Fairground to be approved. By November of 2022, we initiated what's called a project plan through the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency. And what that is that's checking all the boxes that you need to check in order to seek federal funding through the IEPA to finance the project. It's obviously, if you're bidding something with just your local funds, there's a few boxes you have to check, but as you can imagine, that list gets significantly longer once you involve the federal government in anything. You know, you're talking about have to get clearance from tribal authorities, have to, you know, check for ecological issues, water quality issues, all those things that you maybe wouldn't necessarily have to if you were just funding it yourself. So you need to get this project plan approved before you can submit for that funding in the IEPA. So we started that process in November of 2022. It was a fairly long and arduous process and ended up getting approval of that plan in March 2024. That estimated project cost at that time was about 4.8 million for what we were looking at in that first page. Important to note that project plan that's valid for 5 years. So you have 5 years from the time of that approval to seek your bids and get your bids awarded and start construction. And if that 5 years lapses, now you have to resubmit, and you know, if there's new requirements or onerous requirements, because as we know, regulations normally swing one direction and grow, and they don't shrink. You would have to follow that. So that kind of starts the clock of trying to get this out within 5 years. So in March of 2025, once that project plan is approved, we submit in what they call funding nomination form. The IPA is a fairly simple form, but basically backs, you know, by the city administration that, hey, we're ready to move forward with this project. By that point, we had estimated that the project cost had grown about 7.7 million. A lot of that was the complexity of the directional bore under the river and the railroad, and just your inflationary, you know, I think we all know the inflationary pressures that we're seeing recently, especially with construction projects. So, and we wanted to estimate that a little higher, just to make sure you're not going back and asking for more money later. Ultimately, the project was not included as a funded project. It's included on the list, but just the start date was too far out because we didn't have the full land acquisition done and some of the updated permits in hand. Then I know in September 2025, the council approved the rate study for your sewer rates to finance additional wastewater infrastructure upgrades. And then in December 2025, the property acquisition for the new lift station on Front Road was finalized. That was a fairly long process to get that underway. And we really couldn't finalize that design of the lift station until that was done. In the event, we had to relocate it somewhere else on Bluff Road, but that was done in December of 2025. So we moved forward in March, last March, and sent a new funding nomination form to the IEPA. We estimated the project total would increase to about 8 million due to some of the inflationary pressures we're seeing. Again, that's our opinion of what the cost might be, right? Bids could come back lower, but we also want to estimate more on the high side. So you guys are coming back, we're not going back and asking the IEPA for more money. So as of Friday, they released kind of like an initial list of projects. This project is on the list. Won't be finalized till July. As of right now, it's a little bit below some of the other priorities that are above it, but that list will change. So we will come back, in July and update on where it's actually at. And so that list isn't final yet, but really good. We got it in, we're submitted, and the IEPA has scored the case. So last slide I just wanted to touch on, it's just kind of the remaining time, what's left to do, because if the city does obtain the funding, we have to have it out to bid by March 31st of 27. So we got to make sure that we're getting all of these items, in place in advance, so that when we find out we get funding, hopefully we get funding, we can immediately get that out to bid before that March date. So one of the items is we're going to need to resubmit the IEPA water pollution control permit. That was previously secured, but given the delays of the project, those expire in 2 years if you don't start work. So we're going to have to resubmit that to the IEPA. We don't anticipate issues with getting it approved, but we're going to have to update several documents, continue signatures, and everything like that. An interesting aspect of this project, we actually have to get a permit from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to cross the river. The Corps is still the jurisdictional authority, and has been since the 1700s for any navigable waterway in the country. So they do have a nationwide permit program to cover utility crossings such as this. The issue is those are reauthorized every 5 years, and it was just reauthorized in March. So our previous permit expired. So we'll just have to resubmit and get a new permit from the Army Corps of Engineers. Again, not anticipating any sort of huge pushback from them, but it's just a little effort that we have to do to get new signatures and plans into them and make sure we're complying with the new regulations that permit. The other challenging permit, and always is when you're dealing with the railroads, we still need to finalize the permitting approval with it was the Canadian Pacific Railroad at the time this project started. They since merged with the Kansas City Southern, so now it's the CPKC is what they go by. And since they merged, their permitting requirements have grown considerably more difficult. To the point that the geotechnical requirements that we have to give them to show we're not going to undermine their tracks. We have to seek a material allowance to not do a steel casing under the tracks, because we're boring from one side of the river all the way under. So there's really no way to access and get steel under there. So we're going to use a plastic casing. So we need to get approval from them to allow that deviance from their standards. And, as it always is with the railroad, it's difficult, it's challenging, but so we still need to close the loop on that. And then that would kind of be the final 3 permits we need to bid. And then just updating, finalizing the construction plans, the specifications, bid documents for the new IEPA requirements that are part of this year's funding. Those change every year. So we just got to make sure that we get everything updated and ready for bid there. And then also finalizing the lift station design, work with Jeff on some operational improvements that he wants to incorporate into the new lift station, and just lessons learned from the previous 2 that were there. And then finally preparing the bidding documents and get this ready and out to bid. It has to be out to bid in 45 days, according to their the funding rules. So we want to be obviously well out before that March 31st date. So my understanding is in 2 weeks, we'll have a proposal here in front of the council to consider to just finalize these remaining items to get this in line to get it out to bid well in advance of the March. So. Those were the items I had. I'd be happy to have any questions if there are any.
It'll all been within that 5 years,
Yeah, from that project plan approval.
22 to 27,
Planning, we submitted it originally in 2022, it wasn't approved until 2024. So we have until, it would be November. No, it'd be March of 2029. It would be the yeah. The goal is to get everything ready for those, so you get us out as soon as.
Thank you.
Thank you. I apologize, I don't stick around, but I gotta go coach a 10-year-old's little league game, so if you're okay, I'll go into that. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. Moving on, discuss approve ordinance, number 2916, section 86-190. And 102-58, driveways, city code of order, motion please.
Second.
Can I press on this? Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, this is the draft ordinance that Mayor had requested to allow for reclaimed asphalt or recycled asphalt to be utilized as an approved driveway surface. Couple things that I'd like to bring to your attention regarding this ordinance. The way that our office originally drafted it is that reclaimed asphalt pavement adequately compacted would be allowed to be used for driveways. We also added in subparagraph 2 that it could be used for driveways other than residential districts. So it would be allowable as a use for commercial and industrial. Also, again, the language is in the ordinance like that for now, but we would ask that you consider that decision on whether or not you might just want to limit this to residential driveways. In speaking with the city engineer strongly encourages the city to only allow recycled asphalt for residential driveways, allowing commercial or industrial users to utilize this product will inevitably lead to, customers complaining about the quality of the parking lots that they are driving in and they are parking in our commercial businesses and in the industrial areas. So we really would recommend taking out the language in paragraph 2 and just keeping the recycled asphalt allowance in the first paragraph. The other thing that we've done with this ordinance is we've just, in addition to having the number spelled out 6 feet or 2 feet throughout the code, we put the numerical number in parentheses just to make things more clear. And then as it relates to the parking of trailers and non-motorized vehicles and recreational vehicles, we added some language to that section that the surfaces would be in conformance with chapter 86, which is just kind of a tie back, just some cleanup language is all we added there. So this ordinance is placed up for your approval. Again, this was the request of the mayor, but we would ask for some direction on paragraph 2 as it relates to commercial and industrial properties.
Who made the recommendation on removing it from commercial? Was that?
I'm making that recommendation along with the city engineer. I think that your driveways for commercial and residential need to be constructed or hot access. That's
traffic wise, required because and heavy duty vehicles are driving. But this was, I brought this up because it's homeowners and drivers. Why would you make everybody concrete their driveway when they had blacktop and they went, this, as long as everything is compressed right and nothing drains into the street where it goes into our catch basins, then there's no problem. And go ahead.
So, yeah, my biggest concern is really, like you said, the disrepair of the driveway. So, staff, unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit more onerous on them to go out and inspect these driveways and make sure the homeowners are, compacting it and keep it in good condition. Because if they do fall into disrepair and some of that loose material spills into our curb and gutter, that inevitably can get into our waterways, and that is actually a violation of our MS4 permit program. So, so I think it's a good thing for the homeowners. I think it can save them cost and headache, in the long run, and if well maintained, it acts as a pretty good material. But it's all just how the homeowners are going to maintain it. So, yeah, and that's the reason for the recommendation of the industrial and commercial as well. Because those are going to be, utilized a lot more often than residential driveways, so they will fall into disrepair much more quickly. What's the difference between the two? So hot mix asphalt is fresh, new asphalt. Sometimes IDOT does allow up to 10% of reclaimed or recycled asphalt to be put into their mix, but it's put into an actual hot machine, laid down and then compacted afterwards. Recycled asphalt is hot mix that's just been grinded up and put back down. So it's essentially the same material, but it's been grinded up and it just gets put back down and recompacted. It stays in fairly good shape. I wouldn't say that it lasts as long as fresh hot mix asphalt, but if well maintained, it can last, a period of 5 to 10 years, I would say. But if they're, if a homeowner has repeated traffic or they're, peeling out in their driveway or something like that, it can start to fall apart. Exactly.
As long as you put sealer on it, it should stay, and that's what, everybody else is talking.
I just want to make, if we're gonna vote on this, I just want to make sure we're gonna amend that paragraph 2 so that.
We lay this item over so that we can make this change and then bring it back to you, so it's in the appropriate
So
line.
that's all we want to do is just take out the business part of it.
In paragraph
Yeah.
2, that we would clean that up.
Before we do that, I know we have one resident that's kind of hanging in the wings, it's gonna create any kind of.
No, everything's okay.
Very good. Motion ready over.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, we'll lay it over to 15. And thank you. I will move on. Discuss approve ordinance 2917 approving purchase of a vacant real property index as pen 104-106 426-001 Southwest Illinois by the city. Motion please.
Second.
Mayor, if I could address
Go
that.
ahead.
This is the vacant parcel that is, the city of South Beloit had an option, to purchase. It's a landlocked parcel that is behind the confluence. For several years, we have been trying to make contact with the heirs of Julian Salgado so that we could finalize the purchase of this property. Again, there isn't a real need for the city for this particular property at this juncture. However, it's property that we've targeted that should be owned by the city going forward. Mr. Salgado obtained the parcel via a tax sale many years ago. Once the acquisition occurs, we'll then be able to move to take the property off the tax rolls, which is important because under the ground lease, property taxes are being paid. We've now been able to make contact with the heirs. We've prepared all the paperwork that would be necessary to finalize the purchase. We'd ask that council approve the ordinance that we can move forward. The purchase price is $500.
That's all property behind the railroad.
Yes, and we do have an updated phase environmental assessment.
It's a mess back here.
This really doesn't need to be considered. This is the land that we had a 100-year lease, and what we thought that passed it, everything, but how we can probably acquire it, it's in years. Very from this. So this is the land.
Thank you, please.
Commissioner Edelman,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Mayor Fisher.
Yes, discuss approved resolution numbers 6708. Awarding the city of South Beloit 2026 local street project for the lowest bidder, Rock Road Company, LLC, for the total amount of $1,775,742.32. Motion. Brandon, please.
Yes, so yeah, this is our overall streets project. As Sonia explained the locations earlier, these are split into 2 separate projects. The MFT funded portion is the finishing the remainder of the Misty Meadows subdivision. And then the local 100% sales tax funded portion is all of the roadways over in the Hemingway area and potentially the addition in west of the river over by Center 8th, Illinois, so on and so forth. So we bid these projects together to hopefully get better pricing from the contractors instead of two separate. We believe, so the overall bids did come in a little bit under, I think it was about $250,000 under the engineering estimate. The local, that was mostly the local funded portion. The MFT portion did come in slightly higher than what we had estimated. And if you guys recall, for the MFT project, the council awarded the resolutions, which basically tells IDOT, hey, we plan on spending this amount of money on this project. That was $610,000 that we approved with our initial estimate. The bids came back in slightly higher than that, 677. So there will be a formality of us having to do a supplemental resolution to tell IDOT, hey, we need an extra 64,000 in order to cover this difference. But overall, the bids came in much, much under what we were expecting. So I think overall, that's a good project. Unfortunately, we did receive one bid, Rock Road Company. Usually a project of this magnitude, we see 3 or 4 bids, but it's kind of been the industry standard. We just did a bid opening in Roscoe and got 2 bidders on that project. So Rock Road is kind of has a stranglehold on the construction industry right now. They bought out pretty much all of the asphalt plants in the area, so they seem to be the pretty much the prime bidder on these projects. So but we are asking the council to award this. As I stated, the MFT portion, we will have to do a supplemental resolution that we're pulling together, and we'll bring that to the board at the next meeting. But then after that, it should be full speed ahead. We can get contracts going with the contractor, get pre-construction meetings set up. And then if I'm not mistaken, I believe our completion date on this project is the end of September. So the contractor will want to get started on that, and we set our completion date a little bit earlier than we did in the years past, so that we're not paving into October and having issues with temperature. So
the cost should be about 1.85.
No, it'll be $1,775,742.33 between the 2 projects.
But you said that they come in under.
Well, so
I'm sorry, Brandon, you said that the engineer's estimate that Rock Road for the MFT project came in 100 over than that. That's not what their packet says.
So okay, so
Higher than what you said.
higher than the original, correct. Back in March, I think, when we first started this project, we had to do an estimate just to get the MFT portion going. That is where the city passed a preliminary engineering budget, construction engineering budget, and then the construction costs. The construction cost that we estimated back in March was $610,000. I apologize, I should have put that in the packet. What you were seeing there was our updated cost after the design was completed. So yeah, the number itself that you see on the bid tab and what you're awarding is accurate. It's just a formality of paperwork with IDOT to say we need to up the original $610,000 budget to this $677,000.
And suppose we get a per quantity rate is why we're hoping to add in the Southeast Center. So that would be in addition, that would be like a change order to that.
And so what we're doing now is we're preparing cost estimates with those unit prices that were bid. We will probably have the city send that out in the form of a memo to let you guys know what we anticipate the Center 8th, basically that additional scope to cost that would be covered under the local 1-cent sales tax funds. But we will make sure that you guys have that information and can make a well-informed decision before we move forward. In my experience, contractors never turn down additional work, especially if they can get it for the unit prices that they've already submitted for. So we fully anticipate that they'll want to go for it.
Next year, when we picked these roads, we didn't know how the would continue to produce. So this was kind of a give us a handful of roads that you want next, and if we can squeeze them in when we get good unit pricing, we're actually do that. That's what we're at.
Kind of amazing, it's on 8,000, has 1.75, almost $1.8 million for the road work going on. It's very good. Anybody else? Megan, please.
Commissioner Heddington,
Yes.
Commissioner Morse,
Yes.
Commissioner Francis,
Yes.
and Commissioner Egan,
Yes.
and Mayor Mitchell.
Yes, council approved resolution number 6709. Approving a hotel motel funding grant application to the Southwest Lions Club. Motion for.
Okay.
What the hell?
I can, you want me to?
Yeah, Megan can handle this really, it's just kind of review the application, how well did they submit it, and does it apply for heads?
So, we received an application, for a total of a request of $15,000. The first, 5,000 was for, the Southwood Lion Club corn roast. In that they plan to have, a corn and drop roast with music, family fun, raffles. They're estimating that they will have approximately 75 rooms rented as a result of that. They're asking, as a portion of this, they're asking for 5,000. In addition to that event, they were also asking for an additional 4,000 for a meat raffle, the Riverview School Achievers Program, the parade, the trick or treat and the Easter egg hunt. That portion would be approximately 4,000 based on the 15,000 that they requested. And then they've additionally asked for an additional $6,000 to repair the gazebo in City Park. They said the fund would be used for labor and materials to repair the aspect or as that the new maintenance is starting to rot. And they would also accept the manual fund and cedar shade shingles and put in some new plants. So the total that they're requesting is 15,000. With the purpose of the hotel motel funding being being that the importance of getting people to come to South Beloit and stay in hotels and things like that. The only project that they submitted where we could see that you would have people staying is the corn roast. And so for that reason, we suggested to council or suggesting to the council not to fund the meat raffle, the Riverview School Achievement, the Easter egg hunt, the parade or the church and the gazebo, just simply because it doesn't put heads in bed for the city based off of the funding requirements. While they are good community-based organizations, I think that those funds have to come from another place, not necessarily the hotel motel fund. And so the recommendation is to the policy is to give to recommend 10% of the ask for the corn roast, and they asked for 5,000, so we're recommending a $500 at a minimum to have it, but you guys can do more if you choose.
Anyone something to say about it?
I think we need to work within 5,000. We recommend it falls under the regulations, but I am open for more than 500.
Well, here's the review board recommendation was 5,000, move it down 10%. And that's, I mean, I think we gotta give more. I mean, I do. I mean, that's just my feelings. But first of all, I gotta find out. They said there'll be rooms and stuff, so that makes it all legal.
Yes, I mean, again, the use of the hotel motel tax dollars pursuant to state statute is the event has to directly relate to hotel stays.
Well, they got car show and all that stuff, so I imagine people will be there, so I think it's like, I think that is covered. As far as the other stuff, I don't know, so, I mean, up to everybody.
I think we have our review board. They told us what's legal, what isn't, as far as the use of that. I think we need better recommendation, but how much money we give out of that 5,000. That's good. Taking the terms of.
Can I ask her, because I remember when the Southwood Fire Department was doing the form, well, we did ask them for lots of financial history. I know that you guys did this a year or two now, the corn roast over at Jericho. Are you spending more than 5,000? And would you be comfortable sharing your books if you had to in order to get up to that higher amount that you've been floating around?
Yeah, last year we only made $300, and was our first year actually last year. And that, and we'd be willing to share the books.
Okay,
With everything we do, I told myself, we have 3,000 tourists that come in with everything we do. Different things, 500 here, 800 there, you know. It's kind of spread out.
We're limited by what we can do. I mean, you know, same way with the reason we could do more with the fire department, because it was our fire department. You know, I mean, it's a
Yeah.
city's. But as far as, and I remember when the sand festival, what everybody did back then and all that. And I believe we should do more than 500, that I agree on. Because it started bringing in and then if this becomes a snowballs to a bigger event, then it, you know, more money, but I don't, as far as the number, I don't know what number to say. Or
Other than the historical society, do we have anybody else?
we give them 7,500.
the nature of the confluence has been something that we've given to, usually things that happen in City Park are somewhat eligible. At one point, we had like that, we were able to use some ITEP money and charge that.
But we don't have any other real
That's right,
organizations.
there's not a lot of them. So for the corn roast piece, you know, if they know that they're drawing for that, that's the eligible chunk of the application.
And they have 5,000 for that.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, they would like towards that. Now, remember, our review committee can only recommend 10%. So you
That's
guys
all
will
they can
hire-
recommend.
Yeah, they've recommended the most that they can recommend.
I personally feel that we need to have some kind of events going on in this community and bring the people in. And the fire department, Plug Oil was very successful that way. Their corn roast, I know that corner is always got cars going over there. It's a good location. You know, we're looking at putting a park over there. I really don't have any problem with $5,000 for this program.
That's what the motel tax is for, so I mean, I don't have any problem with it either. Brian, you know. Go ahead, say what you gotta say.
I mean, I'm good with the $5,000. To me, guys, what you do is good work.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not taking away any portion of that. I think the unfortunate piece is that I've been here 7 years. And each and every year, you're explaining what it's for, what this fund is for. And each and every year you come back asking for money to participate in the parade, you know, for a trunk or treat. It's all good. Everything you guys do is good. And no issue there. And zero issue with the $5,000 for performance. Please continue to come to us for those funds. But everything else we can't do. So it puts us in a bad position to say no to an organization that is worthy of funds that we can't give. That's where I'm at. Like $5,000, all good.
Well, that'd be great. Our Easter egg hunt, we're doing something for the city there. It ain't for us. We don't make money off it. Our achievement program at the school, that brings in about 900 people with grandparents. There's 3 classes. That costs us money for shirts and everything else. So we're just trying to keep what few things we do going. As far as the parade, I was just throwing in there that we put in $600 every year to do the parade. You know, we don't expect money for the parade, that's what we do, but right now, our club is actually out of money. All our bingo money is gone, everything else for our scholarships and everything else we give. So whatever you can give, we'll appreciate.
Well,
And as far as the gazebo, we're down there every week, fixing it up. It takes a worker from you guys that doesn't have to go down and fix it up, doesn't have to water plants.
That has nothing to do with this here, we got certain rules that we can go by.
Understand all.
I got right now, everybody I think is agreed on 5,000. And if you come back next year, this works out good and it gets bigger, and maybe more, you know what I mean? So that,
We haven't came to you for,
I know.
3 years.
3 years, yeah. And,
And we don't until we use that money, then it comes back.
We need a motion.
we need a motion.
I make most.
Second.
Okay, Megan, please, just, you have the original?
Roll call.
Roll call. No, no, roll call, but-
Do you need to say an emotion?
Yes, yeah.
I told you
I'd
that.
like to amend a motion to say that you were saying $5,000 for the South Blue Alliance.
Did you get a second?
Second.
Okay, Megan, please.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Franklin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman.
Yeah.
Commissioner Heatherington.
Yes.
And Mayor Fitzgerald.
Yes. I know.
Thanks, man.
You betcha. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
You stay, Ron.
I've had enough, fun.
Well, I already got about 8 more things to go through. All right. Discuss approved resolution number 6710, authorizing the solicitation of public bids for removal and replacement of existing layout for thermoplastic pavement marked along Willowbrook Road in South Bluff. I didn't know what it was, so I had to find out. But, get a motion.
Second.
And you want to explain that? Go ahead.
Yeah, I can take this if you're, Steve. Steve came to us, to Fair Graham and said that he needed some assistance with putting a striping project out for bid. I don't believe that the city has done, pavement striping on these roads for quite a number of years, and they are in pretty poor shape. I know Steve's crew has done, work in-house to just get turn lanes and things like that, repaired, but, we are now at the point where Brady, the engineering outsourcing position, took my position, did all of the design himself, put together the bid specifications to restripe these 3 roadways. So after council, well, hopefully council approves this tonight, we will work on finalizing these bid documents. We'll put it out for bid. I think we're anticipating late this week or early next week. And then we would come back to the council, I believe, because of the way that the days work out. Our bids are not going to be able to come back to the council for award until the first meeting in July. But we will be, just because, and I handed this sheet out, you will see that these 3 roads together are totaling what we estimate to be $114,000. So about $64,000 for all of Willowbrook, $22,000 for Door Road, and then $28,000 for South Bluff. So because that is not a nominal amount, we will bid these as base and alternate bids. That way, if the city pricing comes back and say the city says, okay, well, Willowbrook, we know needs to move forward, but these other 2, we just can't afford that right now. The council would have the ability to award the base bid and not award the alternate bid. So we're going to set this up to give you guys some flexibility there. We'll set a completion date for later this summer. This project does require following certain temperature requirements, but we got plenty of time left in the year, and we think that this is a good project and can move forward.
Realize we just spent 1.7 million.
I understand it. Yep. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's just part of the maintenance, and yeah, these roadways have not been touched in many years, so due for some love.
Commissioner Franklin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman.
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington.
Yes.
Commissioner Morris.
Yes.
And Mayor Fitzgerald.
Yes, discuss approved resolution number 6711, authorizing the appointment of a member to the city of South Beloit zoning board of appeals, Ron Jones. And that's, in motion, please.
Second.
Mayor, this is a seat for Samantha Harrison. She is unfortunately got married and will be moving into Beloit. So it will create a vacancy on our board. It's really a shame. She's done a good job for us. So maybe at the next meeting, we'll see if she wants to come. And if not, we'll send her over the gift. Thank you for the time served. But we're really fortunate. We have one gentleman who's kind of waiting in the wings for a couple of years to be on this board. So I gave him a call to let him know and confirm that his ticket has been pulled. And then I'll leave it at that for now.
You want
Talk about the next one, at the next item.
oh, you got that bull there.
Yeah, do you have anything else you want to add about Ron?
She covered it.
Okay, Megan, please.
Mr. Engelmann,
Yes.
Mr. Evans.
Yes.
Mr. Morris,
Yes.
Mr. Franklin,
Yes.
and Mayor Fitzgerald.
Yes, discuss approve resolution number 6712, authorizing the appointment of a member to the city of South Lake zoning board of appeals. Dave Fox,
Casey,
that's PK. Get a motion.
Second.
You got it.
I can take this one too. So David is gonna be taking a seat that we don't know if he'll remain in it permanently, but the way that, you know, we should do this is Pam has to temporarily step down. She's gonna handle some matters. If she decides that she needs to come back, wants to come back in the next year, we would certainly allow her to have her seat back. But we have someone who's willing to serve in potentially an interim, but if something becomes a more permanent seat, he's thrilled to fill a permanent seat as well. So
Why is this just a temporary fulfillment of the seat?
and it's, you want me to take that? Yeah, it's an appointment to the remainder of her term.
Oh.
Because her term expires September 2027. So it's an appointment, just like the previous one, it is a full appointment to the remainder of her term.
Okay.
But Pam Clifton has asked if she is able to return, can she? And this particular individual is aware of that situation and is understanding that Pam Clifton would then return to her unexpired term in the event that she was able to.
If she comes back before that
Yeah.
date.
If she comes back before September of 2027.
Yeah,
Her
figures.
term expires September of 2027.
Which if you got people that's interested in zoning board, it's very helpful to get a, work with them so that they, you know, we have a full board and we have, you know, I mean, that's. I think it's a great idea. It's kind of like having an extra board in case somebody gets hurt. So,
We just had, in May, we just had to cancel our, a planning and zoning meeting because we didn't have a quorum. We did have a quorum at the last minute. One of the members had a medical emergency and was taken to the hospital, so that took our quorum and we had to cancel the meeting and publish our.
so this is a great idea. That's good.
Mayor,
Well,
I did notice that in section 2, subparagraph A, there is a Scrivener's error. It says David Casige Axon. So I just asked that the clerk be asked to.
well, take out that time.
Yeah.
Okay. Vote as amended. We'll get a motion.
You do. I believe there was a motion in a second. Was there a motion? Okay, and then this can just be alt.
All in favor, as amended.
Aye.
Oh, okay. Anybody opposed? Nope. Discuss approve resolution number 6713, authorizing appointment member to the city of South Lake hotel motel tax fund review committee, be Megan Rupp. Motion, please.
So move.
Second.
There's a question here, is it?
And this is for Tracy's.
That's for Tracy seats. Completely replaced her.
still might have her name on stuff, you know.
Oh, so, okay. Anybody else? Megan, please.
Mr. Engelmann.
Yeah.
Mr. Henderson.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Francis.
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald.
Yes. Retro approved of the hiring of Chief Morris Jr. as a part-time summer seasonal employee for the streets department at a rate of $15 an hour. Motion, please.
That,
And, Steve,
this is the final summary that's coming in, Caesar will hopefully be returning. But yeah, he started today and jumped right in with cleaning up some places of our village.
good. Megan,
Mr. Francis.
Yes.
Mr. Engelmann.
Yes.
Mr. Henderson.
Yes.
Mr. Morris.
Yeah.
And Mayor Fitzgerald.
yes, approved retro hiring of Rita Gabriel Rodriguez for the office assistant position at a rate of $17.50 an hour. Motion, please.
Motion.
Leda is one of two
I'm not-
seats, yeah, she's one of two seats in City Hall that have been vacant. We're still recovering from highway moving on and also had to fill the the office assistant position. So this will be, Leah will be filling in that front line, kind of our first line of defense, so a lot of run work in the clerk's department and with customer service. So she comes to us from Beloit College in the hospitality world. About 8 or 9 years as a manager there, and so she really loves dealing with the customers, enjoys being in the trenches, but definitely is looking forward to less evenings and weekends, so.
When we gonna get that pushed around,
Eric is coming Wednesday with his woodworking guy. So as soon as he gets all those numbers put together, we'll have it and we can decide, like,
I don't know about that.
we're gonna juggle a little upstairs because we're so out.
Everybody's got their back to the window.
Yeah.
So they're gonna just move things around. This is just. And that's why everybody.
Fantastic.
This is not part of this year deal, but okay. But
Commissioner Edelman,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutchinson.
Yes.
Commissioner Morris.
Yes.
Commissioner Francis,
Yes.
Mayor Fitzgerald.
yes, that's approved hiring Angie Baker for Assistant to Finance Director, Utility Building Clerk, position at a rate of $19.50 an hour, no Sean.
Second.
Okay, you
Andy
want
comes to us after 30 years of banking. She's been through one merger and doesn't really want to do another one, but I think we should probably all understand that we've all in this area been through at least one merger. They're not all that fun. Can't imagine being on the other side of the bank window, so.
They're not all that.
Yeah. We lived it, I mean. I will add that, primarily Angie is going to advance our collections process. That's our goal for her. So she will be responsible for billing, but we have that somewhat streamlined and it's not really more than a week's worth of the month work. So for the other 3 weeks, yes, she's gonna help in the trenches, cover the office, answer the phone, take care of all clerk and financial assistance needed. But primarily, we're really hoping that she can advance our game in collections. We still have a list to grind through. So we've gotten a lot better in the last 15 years than where we were, but the next 15 years we need to get really good. Send letters right away, get out people right away, and not let large settlements become a thing anymore. It needs to try.
Andy, please.
Commissioner Edelman,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris.
Yeah.
Commissioner Francis,
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman,
Yes.
and Mayor Fitzgerald.
Yes, that's approved revised offer of employment for Mandy Nelson. At a rate of $15.60 an hour per hour for part-time seasonal employee.
Okay.
Second.
Maybe has hit her 1 year and it's coming back a lot of breaks. She's a graduate now, so we're trying to be an attorney. I wish we could see her forever, but we will gladly take her in the summer. But this is the traditional 4% increase that we've given to all our part-time people when they get that 1 year mark, come back and serve another job. Good too.
Is that the first I just?
Maybe it's the back.
Yeah.
She'll have a seat out front when we do a little.
Serving her up.
Leda was the one that was up close to Shaw's. Yeah, yeah, that was me. It's one who kind of help a lot of attention. Really smart.
Commissioner Morris.
Yeah.
Commissioner Francis,
Yes.
Commissioner Edelman,
Yeah.
Commissioner Hutchinson,
Yes.
and Mayor Fitzgerald.
Yes, we're gonna, we tried an executive session, but I think we're gonna do it here, right?
That's
Well, we're gonna do it here, so we have time to get, thanks for coming, though. Thank you. You do enjoy everybody. No, go ahead.